Hardware, should you get it? Today I want to talk about hardware. We're going to talk about, is it any good? Is it better than plugins? Should you get it? And what kind of hardware should you get? Should you get equalizer, compressor? But first, hit the like button and please subscribe, it will help me a lot. For a small home studio owner, I got quite a lot of hardware. I have like 4 12 units racks full of hardware. The reason why I got all of this hardware is because I'm recording acoustic drums. And to me, analog compressors, especially compressors, sounds much better than the analog emulated compressors that I have used. Most of them that I'm using is, when it comes to plugin, is Waves plugin, which I actually, I like them a lot. But when comparing it to an analog compressor, no, that's in a whole different league. The analog compressors got a lot more, I hate to use the word warmth, because that's not what we're looking for when it's a compressor. It's got a more bite to it, and it got it's pulling everything down much heavier than the plug-in version of it. At least that's what I think. So it doesn't matter if I'm recording acoustic drums, then I will use analog hardware. When I'm recording electric guitar, acoustic guitar, bass guitar, vocals, you name it. Anything I record, I go through my analog hardware. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I think it sounds much better. When I'm going into the computer, my sound is 90% done when I'm in there. I'm just pulling up the fader and it sounds like a drum set or whatever. And then I'm just tweaking a little bit in the DAW, in my DAW. By that saying, I'm not saying that you need to have hardware. But if you've been doing this for some time and want to take it one step further, then I believe the next step could actually be a hardware. Because you're gonna get much greater results in your recordings. You're gonna hit those converters much better. You're gonna have a more complete sound when you're going in. I mean, if you're recording vocals and using a hardware compressor going in, that dynamic range will not be as big as before, which means that you can bring up the volume. I'm not telling you that you should go out and buy an expensive 1176 and an LA2A. What I am saying though is, if I didn't record drums and if I started today, I would get a channel strip that I think had a good preamp and a good EQ. I'm using this console a lot. Don't buy a big ass console, you don't need it unless you're tracking a lot of microphones. I'm using this with 24 channels when I'm recording drums, and I'm using 24 channels for mixing, but you don't need it. No, you really don't need a big ass console. It looks good and it's fun to use, and this one also sounds good, but you don't need it. But if I was gonna start over today, I would probably get, there's a company called Golden Age Project. They make great preamps and EQs and compressors. I would get a Golden Age. I actually have a Golden Age Pre 73 Junior, I think it's called. Basically, it's a Neve 1073 style preamp. And then I have a Golden Age 81, I don't remember, EQ-81 I think it's called. Basically, it's a Neve 1081 style EQ, which sounds awesome. And then I would get a cheap 1176 style compressor, and that's it. I would be happy to record vocals and guitars and bass through that. You would get a much better signal than just going straight into your sound card and into your computer. Most people don't record acoustic drums. You probably sit in your small home studio in an apartment and using a drum program like Easy Drummer or something like that. You're probably recording most of your electric guitar through a DI with an amp simulator inside your DAW, and your bass guitar is going DI, and the only thing that you're miking up are like an acoustic guitar and vocals. In that case, this is perfect for you. Get a channel strip, get a compressor, an 1176 style compressor. There's a lot of them out there in the market. There's Warm Audio, there's Klark Teknik, there's Lindell Audio, a bunch of others. And the thing with 1176, it's good for everything. I mean, you can use it on drums, percussion, a guitar, acoustic guitar, a bass guitar, a vocal. You have to remember that sometimes you use it 20:1 ratio as a limiter, just to take the peaks out, which I am using when I'm talking to you guys. Always my microphone goes into an 1176. and then just taking the peaks out. And the 1176 is so versatile, it's so fast and it's so versatile. You can use it on anything. If you're gonna record some percussion, go through the 1176 style compressor. You will get rid of a lot of dynamics, which means that you can have a higher signal going into your DAW. If you're going into your DAW with a less of a dynamic range, that will make your digital converters much more happier, and it will result in a better sound. And remember that it's more fun to record, and you know that, yeah, for every track that you're laying down, it sounds more and more like a finished album, which is so much fun. I hate it when somebody asks me to mix. They recorded something and they want me to mix it, and it's raw drum tracks with no EQ whatsoever. There's recorded DIs, not even a guitar sound, not even an amplifier sound, not even a distortion, just a DI, and the bass is DI, and it's so boring. When I get those projects, I just say, okay, I get it if you don't have all the equipment that you need, but at least run your DI guitars through an amp sims and record it. Show me what kind of sound you want, because then I can run the DIs through my amplifiers and print it again. If you don't hear what the people have been trying to do, it's hard for me to capture their idea. And if it's your own recording, I promise you, you will have much more fun. So therefore, if you can afford it, if you want to go to the next level, then I would suggest to get hardware. Get a preamp that you think sounds good, and I would say get a colorful preamp, because today when everything is digital, it's so boring and clean. I would suggest a Neve style preamp with a Neve style EQ and an 1176 style compressor, because not only do they compress great, but they also color the sounds a lot. And the reason why I have all of this rack gear is, as I said in the beginning, because I record acoustic drums and I want to have 90% finished drum sound in my computer before I mix, because that makes me, if my drum sounds is pretty much finished, then I know what kind of guitar sounds I want, or bass sounds I want, organ or piano, whatever I'm using, because that will help me get to the finished product. But I know everybody can't have it, of course, but get one good preamp, one good EQ, and one good compressor, and you're good to go. Anyway, until next time, please subscribe, hit the like button, goodbye.